Welcome to another edition of the Business and Personal Podcast, where we bring you closer to the people you do business with or just share great stories of things that are going on out there. And we're thrilled today to have Kwame Terra on with us. He is the founder and CEO of bEHR Health Systems, doing all kinds of amazing things with that. So we're going to let you know a little bit more about him and what he has going on. So first of all, Kwame, thanks for joining us out of your busy day.
Yeah, Ryan, thanks for having me. Looking forward to the conversation.
So it's the business and the personal podcast. So tell us a little bit about Kwame and what eventually led you to bEHR Health Systems.
Sure. So I was born here in New Orleans, Louisiana. I grew up in Houston, Texas. I moved there when I was really young. I grew up in a family of runners. We, four out of the seven kids well, three of us went to college to run, but another one of us could have, but he decided not to pursue that. Really been in a part of health for most of my younger life because my dad always made it a big part of our upbringing to make sure that health was really important for our performance, right? And so we understood that from a young age. I stopped drinking sodas. I don't know, maybe when I was 10 years old. I was the kid eating shrimp pasta as opposed to the burgers and fries at the post-team dinners. And so it's just like these things were instilled in me from an early age. And I was actually recruited to run cross country and track at Xavier University, Louisiana, HBCU here in New Orleans. And that's when I started kind of like my, I guess you could say, professional health journey. So I was pre-med. Xavier is known for producing the most African American doctors in the country. And so my goal was to become a doctor. And, before I graduated, I Googled, which professions make the most money. And that was one of the professions, and so that was the goal. But early on in my academic career, I was introduced to research and developed an appreciation for the, I guess you'd say like understanding problems from the root cause. So as opposed to treating the problems once they've already developed, right? In a sense, doing damage control. What can we do to get ahead of them? And that's what ultimately led me to public health, where a few years later I completed my master's of public health with a concentration in health equity from Xavier. And right before that, it was the pandemic. And during the pandemic, obviously, all that was happening kind of shed light on all of the disparities that exist in health in this country in particular. And my aunt actually shot me a text message and said, "Hey, Kwame, I think this would be a great time for you to kick off your healthy eating initiative again." And so I'm the vegan in the family, and so that's the eating initiative she was referencing. And this is what I came up with, bEHR Health. So we have a startup that gives you a health score. We have an app that gives you a health score, kind of like a credit score for your health, and it changes in real time depending on how you change, right? So if you go on a run or a walk one day, your score goes up a few points. If you get 3 hours of sleep one night, your score goes down. And then based on those changes, we make recommendations for how you can improve, as well as connect you with healthcare providers, resources, and experiences to elevate your overall health.
Can't think of many more challenging places in the country to eat healthy than New Orleans. So if you were able to pull that off, I'm sure you could be a great advocate for others for sure.
Yeah,
So
right. Yeah, I would say if we can figure out how to get it done here, we can do it anywhere.
so yeah, recently you set a world record, 2 million steps, over 2 million steps in 30 days. So just give people an idea of how much time is involved every day just in getting those
And
steps in to get to that goal.
yeah. Yeah, I mean it was about 14 hours a day of walking easily. Depending on how fast I was going. The first day I started off at 5 a.m. I didn't stop walking until about 11 p.m. Now, granted, I was, I had things to do throughout the day as well, so I had some meetings to take here and there. But I think my pace just wasn't there. Again, it was the first day I was still feeling things out. But I remember to finish up the day, I was walking around the island of my friend's apartment just to get the last few steps in. Just like how am I going to do this every day for the next 30 days? Okay, it's
Right.
11 p.m. Now I got to go to sleep and get back up in 6 hours. It was brutal. But yeah, so 30 to 35 miles of walking per day, 67,000 steps per day. I do certainly think that it's a breakable record. Like what I did, I could have done more than what I did. Now I don't think that the majority of people in the world could do it by any means, but I do think it's a breakable record. So hopefully somebody comes around and we kind of start going back and forth. Or we go toe to toe one month. That'd be fun. My biggest takeaway from it was just that people were inspired by it. when I first set out to do it, obviously it was to raise awareness for my company. But I was thinking that, yeah, people would think it was cool and like interesting to follow, but I didn't expect people to necessarily be inspired. And when someone first told me that, I was just on a walk in the city and they walked up to me and they were like, "Hey, are you the walking guy?" Like I'm some sort of a myth. And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "You are me and my friend's inspiration." And that really like touched me because when I think about like what I actually want to do with my life, it is to prolong the desire to live. Like how do I through what I do and who I become make others want to be here longer and create, a more valuable experience for all. And so yeah, it was a very rewarding experience beyond like actually accomplishing it. Um, yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, and 2 million steps in 30 days, that's not for a lot of people, but what is for anybody that is listening to this, that, anybody can get a health score, right? And give a number to build on. What are some things that you do or can be done to help coach people up to get that score up over the course of time?
Yeah, so what we started to do, and it kind of started last year when the app first came out, is we do challenges. So last year to launch our app, we did the Mardi Gras Steps Challenge. So whoever took the most steps on our app during Mardi Gras season won $5,000. And people were walking, man. I mean, one person did 350,000 steps in 5 days. He ended up winning.
Oh, wow.
But there was a woman, a breast cancer survivor, actually right on his heels. He had done 100,000 steps on the first day just because he wanted to do 100,000 steps. That was his challenge. And despite that jump that he had in the beginning, she was still able to hang in there. So it was just really cool to see that the top 10 were people from all different walks of life, half men, half women, half professionals, half student. It was just really cool to see a challenge kind of shake out like that. And then in May of last year, Dr. Eric Griggs, he completed 1 million steps in 30 days. So about 33,000 steps a day, 15 miles of walking per day. He ended up losing 20 pounds and got taken off his blood pressure medication in 30 days. And, when I think about what we set out to do with Bear Health, which is to predict, prevent, and reverse the chronic conditions that plague our community, to see that happen in such a short period of time from our launch it was just everything to me. And that's really what I try to focus on is how do I every day, one, help someone understand their current health status through their score, and then provide an experience, not necessarily just say, hey, go take 10,000 steps a day or hey, go on a run. It's like, come to our run club community meetup this Saturday. Come to our yoga session this Wednesday. Join this steps challenge. So the ultimate outcome is you're running, you're walking, you're doing yoga and stuff like that. But the focus is the community experience. And so that's really what we try to focus on and try to help and how we help people improve that score. The score is there because we do need to measure these things because you can't improve what you aren't measuring. But I don't want people to become obsessed with tracking their health. That's not very healthy to me.
Yeah, and I think some people think you need rigorous exercise or this or that to improve your health. I don't think people realize just how much walking makes a difference.
It's
Have you noticed
incredible.
that? It's probably great to see people's reaction, like, wow, I'm feeling so much healthier just after walking.
Because it's like I can keep doing this. Right. A lot of why people get discouraged when it comes to, transforming their health is because, they're putting in a lot of work to get, sometimes you don't even see the results for, a few months. And it's like, well, can I keep this up? Yeah. So when it comes to like what's an effective tool for improving health or an effective diet to follow, like the best strategy or the best tool may not necessarily be the best tool because people aren't going to adopt it. Right. So there's this combination of effectiveness, but also adaptability for what kind of strategies to deploy for health intervention.
So, what are your goals going forward with Bear Health as you continue to try to grow it? What are some initiatives that you have coming up?
Yeah, so we've been operating on our beta app for the past 18 months since our launch, and we're excited to migrate to our official app in October. And to officially launch the app, we're doing what we call the Bearathon. So this will be a virtual run/walk event happening across multiple venues. There'll be one formal race in New Orleans, but there will be satellite meetups throughout the country. And so we'll partner with run clubs that will essentially just identify as satellite stations. And satellite stations is specific because the theme for this year is bEHR Health to the Moon. So since it's our official launch, it's bEHR Health to the Moon, and we're going to try to cover enough distance as a community on that day to reach the moon. So it's 239,000 miles. If we get 239,000 people on the app, then everybody just has to move 1 mile. If not, some of us are going to have to move a good bit of distance. But that's kind of again, just leaning onto the community aspect of things. The ultimate goal of the Bearathon is to break the world record for the most people in a virtual run/walk event, which currently sits at 773,000. Whether we hit it this year, next year, whenever that comes, that's just kind of like the focus for the annual Bearathon. And we'll have different themes each year, but ultimately, how do we get 1 million people to move toward better health on one day?
You're going to keep the old Guinness Book busy rewriting the records if you keep doing what you're doing,
Yeah,
man.
people were so engaged with that challenge, with that effort, to break the world record, that just from a business and marketing perspective,
Yeah.
if you can keep a theme like world record breaking within your business like marketing profile, then yeah, I mean, it gets the people going for sure. And then also when I think about a brand, when you think about brands in general, they have a theme beyond um like their specific deliverable, right? Like Nike sells shoes, but they're really about, top performance in sports and just do it in in
Yep.
Apple and things like that. So I don't know, maybe ours ultimately is like world-class health, or like I don't know, we're still early, so I'm still learning exactly how we want to kind of move forward, but um yeah, that's definitely something we're going to continue to explore.
And I'm always interested how a business came up with their name. So how did bEHR Health come about?
Yeah, so BEHR actually stands for Black Electronic Health Records. So electronic health records are standard, basically databases of health information that hospitals use, so on and so forth. And since our specific goal is to solve this problem in the Black community, that's just what we came up with. That's the company name and the company focus. The app will more than likely have a different name in the future, especially as other demographics start to come onto the platform. That's just a problem that I'm personally interested in solving. There are plenty of other opportunities within the business and with the technology to solve problems elsewhere. And as different team members come on and expand that part of the business, then that's when we'll start. It's just personally, that's what I'm focused on.
Well, anybody that's still listening is very interested in your initiative. So where can they go to learn more and get involved in any of these great
Yep.
things that you're doing?
Absolutely. So you can find our app in the App Store, our beta app. It's called Dacadoo, Dacadoo. Again, anyone can download the app. You're going to use access code. Let's see. Let's just say all caps business for the access code. You'll be able to create an account, get your health score. Again, join a challenge. This month we're giving away a few pair of On running shoes. They're new, unreleased, or actually they just released it today. Cloud surfers. And then we do different challenges again throughout the year. At the beginning of this year, we gave away 2 tickets to Super Bowl 59. If you completed 59,000 steps in a week, you were entered in for a chance for that. So just always, again, looking for different ways to get people moving without the movement being all that we focus on. Like how do we curate an experience at a competition and all that stuff. You can find also bEHR Health on Instagram at bEHR Health, as well as my personal is Kwame Terra, Kwame Terra. And yeah, just follow our journey. We have a lot of content related, just kind of like documenting our journey, and I like to think it's pretty entertaining.
Yes, it definitely sounds interesting, inspiring. All at the same time, the beauty of these podcasts is, I'll put this out there, and anybody anywhere could get it and be a part of your initiative. So even if it's one person that we find
Yep,
that we're able to help out, this is worth our time.
absolutely.
Well, thanks again, Kwame. Maybe we'll have you on down the road for an update.
Yeah, we'll do.